Hello everyone, Denise here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Paying It Forward Friday project for this month. The stitch that I have chosen for this month is the lemon peel stitch. It's also known by many different names, but I call it the lemon peel stitch because that's what I learned it as. So as far as the projects go, you can make anything with this stitch that you would like. You can make a shawl, you can make a blanket, you can make a baby blanket, an afghan, a scarf. You can make anything that you would like to make, and I'm going to show you how to do it on a flat fabric for this video. So next week I will show you how to do it in the round for hats and or cowls if you want to make a cowl with it. But this week will be the flat version. This stitch is multiples of 2 plus 1 as far as the flat projects go. You know, you're going to turn every single row at the end of every row. So this week I'm just going to show you some samples of different yarns, different weights. So it does not matter, you know, what brand I'm using. That's not what I meant. I mean the different sizes that you can get from doing this stitch in different sizes of yarn. So obviously the larger the yarn, the larger the stitches, the larger the project, the faster it goes. So if you wanted to make just scarves, you certainly can. You can make anything you want. Quite honestly, this is all up to you. This is how you want to work any projects that you want to donate. And I am doing this just to help out those who can't narrow it down to, you know, what stitch should I use and, you know, how versatile is it. This is to help others realize that they can use one stitch for multiple different items. And there are a billion stitches out there that you can use. Not all of them are easy to work in the round, but the lemon peel stitch is very attractive and so very easy to work up. The dishcloth that you're looking at right now is not one that I'm going to work up because the yarn is crazy. This yarn I got at Hobby Lobby recently when I went there to get clearance items, but this was not clearance. This is just one of their cottons that they were selling, and it made me happy, so I bought it. And I love making these washcloths. I do have a tutorial for this on my channel, so I will put that in the description box below if you want to go check just the washcloth out. But it is very interesting, even though it is very simple. It is a textured stitch. It works very well for, you know, any gender. So it doesn't scream girl and it doesn't scream boy. So it's very easy to incorporate into projects that you're going to be donating. It could be made for either or. And you can also choose colors of yarn, you know, that are neutral and anyone could wear. And you can do boy girl, you know, like the hats that I've made for the hospital in our area. When I make them, I do make them pink and I make them blue, and sometimes green, and sometimes I have made just plain white. So I like the variety personally, but it's up to you. Like I said, all of this is totally up to you. You do however you would like to do your projects. So I am going to show you on a worsted weight yarn to begin with. This is some yarn that I got at Hobby Lobby a while back. I do still think they sell it. It's called Breathe Deep Spa. I'm not positive they still sell it. I bought a ton at the time, so I haven't needed to pick any up. I'm not really sure if they still have it, but if they do, this yarn is incredibly soft. This is the Hobby Lobby version of Feels Like Butter, I believe, from Lion Brand. So when you are working the lemon peel stitch, you need multiples of 2. So going to make your project as large as you would like to make it. If you're making a scarf, make it as wide as you'd like. If you are making a shawl, you can either work it the edge up or start from the largest length and go from there. If you're making a baby blanket and you're going square, just chain as many multiples of 2 that you would like your project to be, as large as you would like your project to be. What I do is I will chain my chains and then I'll get my tape measure and measure it to see if it's the size that I would like. I'm going to show you a swatch, so I'm not going to do a full project, but I will chain multiples of 2, probably the size of a scarf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 sounds good. So this is, I don't think I have a tape measure in here. This is about guesstimate of 6-7 inches long, and that's good enough. So once you get your multiples of 2, however long that is, add 1 more chain. So this is a chain of 21. So in contrast to the dishcloth I made, which is also worsted weight yarn, this is a chain 25. This is a chain 21. So just the difference in the yarn will show you that depending on what hook you use, what yarn you use, is going to be a difference in the size of your project. This is almost, yeah, I mean, this, once this works up a bit, this is going to be just shy of how large this is. And this is a worsted weight 4, and this is also a worsted weight 4. So just depends on what you use. You can use any hook, any yarn. Hook I'm using is a 5.5 or an eye hook. So to begin the lemon peel stitch, we always start with a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one. So single crochet. And in the next chain space, we're going to put a double crochet. In the next space, a single crochet, and then a double crochet. And we're going to alternate single crochet and double crochet all the way across your row. Yeah, this yarn is, I think this yarn is 100% polyester. I'm fighting with my yarn, so I do apologize. I'll give you time to work ahead of me. That's what I always, when I'm watching video tutorials and I'm working a project and they need to pause for whatever reason, I'm like, yes, I can catch up. Okay, because pausing the video is not always convenient. Just remember that you are alternating between single crochets and double crochets. And for our row 1, we started with a single crochet. I actually purchased this yarn to make one of my grandsons a blanket. And depending on what this swatch looks like, I might make it out of this stitch. I have tried so many stitches with this yarn. I can't even tell you. I have made so many and ripped them out. This yarn has a tendency to, it doesn't stay plump when you make a stitch with it. It tends to flatten out, and then it kind of spoils whatever stitch you're doing. I have a knot. So I've had a hard time coming up with a stitch that works well with this yarn. So we'll see how this turns out, because this could be my solution right here. All right, we're ending our row with a double crochet. Let me scoot up here a little bit. See, if I rest my arms on my table and then I move, the camera bounces. So I'm constantly raising my arms up in an awkward position. So I do apologize if my hands end up way down here because it's more comfortable from the way I'm sitting. Okay, so this is our row 1. And we started with a single crochet, we ended with a double crochet. So now we're going to, the second row is going to be the same row for the entire project now. So every single row now you will chain 1 and turn your work. See how it's a little bumpy on the side? Now we're going to do the opposite of what we did last time. So any single crochets you see on this row, you're going to put a double crochet in them, and any double crochets you're going to put a single crochet in them. So we're always going to chain our work, chain 1, turn our work, and put a single crochet in the very first stitch, because every row we're ending with a double crochet. So every row we're going to start with a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next, because that was a previous single crochet on our last row, and then a single crochet in the next, and a double crochet in the next. Single crochet, double crochet. So easy. This is the easiest, most interesting stitch I think I have found, other than just a couple that are variants of this kind of stitch. But this is very interesting, and it gives you a nice texture. It's a classy stitch. It doesn't take away from the garment that you're working on. It works really well with variegated yarns. It works very, very well with single colored yarns. So we're just alternating like we were on our previous row. Single crochet, double crochet. We always end with a double crochet. All right, let's take a look. Well, that looks pretty good on this yarn. I'm not sure if it's the yarn or if it's me. I just might not be a fan of this yarn. I'm not sure. I think it's soft and awesome. I mean, it's pretty. I like it. I like the stitch more. I can tell you I like the stitch more in the washcloth that I made. I think it's just the yarn. I have a problem with the yarn, but I'll figure it out. So let's go on to row 3. We're going to do exactly what we did with row 2. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're always going to put a single crochet in this very first stitch. That was a double crochet in the last row. Then we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next. See, you already know what you're doing. You already got the hang of this. Easy peasy, right? Just like the washcloth. Easy peasy. This is a really good stitch to watch TV too as well, or audiobooks are awesome. YouTube podcasts. I love stitches that do not take a lot of my attention but still give me the satisfaction of being interesting. There's one thing after crocheting for all these years is that I do get bored easily with stitches. If they are the plain stitches, single crochet, double crochet, I do get bored with them. So I like the interest of the texture that the lemon peel stitch gives. Okay, that's the end of row 3. I'm liking it better now. do one more row, and then I will show you some different yarn that I worked up in this, different weights of yarn. Okay, so every row we are going to chain one and turn our work. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Single crochet in that first stitch, double crochet in the next. Single crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next. Also, the easier stitch makes it a lot faster to work up a project, which is nice when you're making projects for charity, for donating, because then you can make more. Okay, always end with a double crochet. That is 4 rows of lemon peel stitch. Now personally, when you're done with your project, you can put a single crochet around the edge, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second here. But I want to show you on my washcloth that I think it looks fine. I have no problem with the edges of this. Because the texture is already bumpy, I mean, I can see how you'd want a more finished look if if you're wanting a more finished look, then doing a single crochet edge would be nice. But I think this looks great. I think this, well, in my opinion, this looks great. So I may or may not edge a scarf. I probably would edge a shawl. I probably would edge a baby blanket. But it's just a matter of what yarn you use and how you feel about it. So to edge in single crochet, it's pretty much, make sure you don't put too many stitches in your project. Let's pretend that this is done. Okay, I would chain one and I would turn the work and I would put a single crochet in every stitch across. Even though this edge, of course, would be perfectly fine to leave because it's already smooth, but that's, again, it's all personal preference. That's the beauty of doing projects any way you want, is you get to choose. You get to choose what is done, what isn't done, it's all up to you. No one's asking you for anything. This is all just what you want to do, and then you can give it away. Get to the end of the row here so I can show you what I do with the edges. You don't want to put too many stitches on the edges or it will ruffle. If you put too little, it will create tension. So on the corner of anything that I single crochet around, I put 3 single crochets in the corner stitch, and that gives it a nice corner edge. Grab some more yarn. Okay, so these are double crochets on the end. I will typically put 2 to 3 single crochets in each of those. I just put my hook in wherever it goes in easily. And then 3 on the corner. Oh, this This yarn is, I think it's my setup here in the office. It's not as good as what I was using. This was our starting edge of the project, so I'm just going to go ahead and put single crochets in where it feels right. Just like the edge, wherever it goes in nice. Don't put too many, don't put too little, and you'll know. You'll definitely know if your material starts puckering, your project starts puckering or ruffling. You'll definitely know if you put too little. See, if I put too little, let's skip this one, put one here, I'll put one here, and I'll put one here. Okay, let's look at that. See how it's starting to pucker right there? That's not right. That's too little stitches. So we want to go back. Now let's put in too many, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll put 2 here, 2 here. Okay, that's not crazy, but if I did that all the way across the row, the fabric is going to start, it will start puckering and it will start getting crazy. But that's not terrible, actually. There's a lot of leniency here. There's a lot of room for you deciding how you would like it and it being okay. There's no exact science to this. Typically it's 2 stitches per double crochet, but it all depends on your tension. So I just put my hook in wherever it feels like it goes in with ease and continue. And it always ends up fine. So the world doesn't end because of an extra stitch. I put an extra stitch in there and then I would slip stitch, and that would be a finished project for me. So that's how I would finish it off. Now it's totally up to you. Like I said, you can do the single crochet all the way around or not. Like I said, with the dishcloth, I'm not going to do mine. My dishcloth tutorial does show you the option of how to do this. So let me pull in some other yarn here. That is, this yarn is Barcelona from Loops and Threads. I have a ton of this I bought a long time ago. I still need to use it up, so I'm going to use it for projects for charity. I have used a J-hook for this project because that's what the yarn calls for. And this is going to be a baby blanket. And I chained quite a bit for this because it's going to be around, I want to say it's going to be around 34 to 36 inches for this blanket. And I've got quite a bit of length here. So however large you want your project, you just chain the multiples of 2. So this is number 5 bulky yarn. And let me get my swatch back in here. So you can see the difference between this is a worsted weight and this is a bulky weight. See, the stitches are much more plump with a bulky weight. Your project's going to go faster with a bulky weight. Now let me pull in some baby yarn. So this is some baby yarn I got at Michael's. It's also Loops and Threads. It is a lightweight 3, and I believe it calls for a 4.5 hook or a G hook. I have, what do I have here? I have an H hook. I'm going to use an H hook, 5.5 or 5.0 mm. I just have a small ball of yarn, so I'm going to toss it down there and hopefully it works with me. So like I said, multiples of 2 10. I'll do 12 on this one, and then we add an extra chain for turning. Single crochet goes in the second chain from the hook, and a double crochet goes in the next chain space, and we are going to alternate single crochet and then double crochet all the way across the row. Only have a few stitches here, so I will work them up really quickly. This yarn is much smaller than the other two that I was working with, so if I chose a project with a lightweight 3, it is going to take me longer than if I use that worsted weight or the bulky weight yarn. Also, if you wanted to make a scarf out of like a 6 super bulky, that would go really fast. So we end every row with a double crochet, we chain 1, turn our work, and then we always put a single crochet in this very first stitch and a double crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, and a double crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to alternate all the way across the row until we get to the end here, and then I will probably do another row just to show you the size difference in the yarn so that you have an idea of what yarn that you're thinking about using, how much time you have, how many projects you want to do this month, or how little projects you want to do. It's totally up to you. Like I said, this is all based on what you want to do. Every row, chain 1, turn your work, single crochet, double crochet. So I plan on making at least 1 baby blanket, at least 1 scarf, definitely a hat since I have to do the pattern, and possibly a shawl, but I'm at least going to do a baby blanket, a scarf, and a hat every month. And depending on my yarn stash and what's going on, I may switch that baby blanket to a shawl, so we'll have to see. So let me put them next to each other now. So this is baby yarn right here, and then we had our worsted weight yarn right here, and I'll take some of the edge out so you can look at it bare next to the other. And then I have a bulky weight. Now I did not work up one with I didn't work up a super bulky yarn yet, but if I do a scarf, I'm gonna show you my projects that I finish at the end of the month anyway, so we'll just see what happens. All right, so top one is baby yarn, middle one is medium weight worsted, and bottom is number 5 bulky. So you can see the difference, same stitch. The hook I coordinated with the yarn, so it's not all the same hook, but this is the difference that can be made in your projects this month for when you're doing your charity work. So the washcloth, I used an eye hook also, so this is the same hook, and this is different yarn. Clearly it's cotton, so there's so many variations of what this is going to look like depending on what yarn you choose and what hook you use. If you choose a smaller hook than what's recommended on your ball band, you're going to end up with a denser fabric. And if you choose a crochet hook that's several sizes larger than what's recommended, you will end up with a looser fabric, probably a little bit lacy. These are all of my swatches are recommended hook size, other than the baby yarn. I used an H instead of a G. So yeah, you just need to know you're working in multiples of 2 plus 1, and your beginning row you will put a single crochet in your second chain from the hook, and then do a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet all the way across your row, always ending in a double crochet. you will chain 1, turn your work, put a single crochet in your first stitch, a double crochet in your second, and then alternate between those 2 stitches for the entire row, always ending in a double crochet. That's the entire project for any flat project you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go, decide what you want to make, what yarn you want to choose, what hook you want to choose, and just start enjoying the making process. I am going to actually continue on with my baby blanket here, which is a bulky weight, and I'm using a J hook on that because I have so much of that yarn that I need to work up, and it's really soft and nice. I just hadn't found something to make up with this yarn, and I like using it. I really enjoy it. It's like the Michael's version of the puzzle from Premiere. It's very nice yarn, very good yarn. But I will be back next week on Friday because it is Paying It Forward Friday, and I am going to be showing you the hat pattern for this month, and that will be in the round, and I will also give you instruction on how to make it for any size head and any length. I mean, there's going to be a lot of variables in that as well, but hats are always needed as far as donation goes, so we want to cover all sizes for that. And that can be used for any top-down hat that you decide to make from here on out for the career of your crocheting life. So I will be doing that next Friday, and then the week after that on Friday I will be joining you in video. And then if you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section, and I will address all of those questions on the 3rd week in July. And then the 4th week of July on Friday we'll be starting a new giveaway for August, and that's exciting because that means I get to find some yarn for you guys, whether I'm gonna buy it or find it in my stash. You know, everything that is in my stash I have handpicked because I like the yarn, so I don't buy bad yarn, just for the record. So if it does come out of my stash, it was handpicked by me, especially because I liked it. So that is for a later date though, and I will just leave you to work on projects and enjoy your making. And like I said, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask in the comment section of any of the Paying It Forward Friday videos. I see all of your comments that you make, and any makes that you do get worked up, or any project that you want to share your progress, go ahead and share that with the hashtag Paying It Forward Friday, and then everyone can see that when they search on Instagram or YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and until next time, guys, bye.